Welcome back to Native Honor Hours. Man,
can you believe it?
It feels good to say that, doesn't it? My name is Ed Zendejas, and my Zoom co-host is
Cindy Krafka. Ed, it's been so long since I've seen you. I forgot what you look like.
Well, we really haven't seen each other that much. It's just been either by Zoom or...
Well, we're both old and scared of COVID, so it's been home. Well, for me, home.
You know what? I'm going to share this news. As of yesterday, I'm all vaxxed up.
Good. Is that because you're so old, the rest of us have to wait for our shots?
Yeah, it's part of the reason why. But no, it feels good. You know what? I was watching our last show last night, and I was thinking we didn't have a clue what was in store for us over the past almost a year, and it's been a pretty amazing, incredible, challenging,
terrifying, horrifying.
Yeah, and I've been sitting here thinking about all the things that have happened since we left, and I don't even know if I could have made stuff up to experience what we've been through since. I think it was March 10th was our last show, and this is what, Joel, January 28th, yep. 2021, and we made a decision to come back, even though I thought we were going to try to wait until we were able to get back into a studio or someplace where we can. But I thought, the good thing about it is that Cindy can't hit me in the head, and Kenny. But
I can find you at your house.
And Kenny has a mute button, so I thought this might work. So we decided to come. They're just, I don't know. I'll let you.
You're just no longer afraid of technology.
No, well, you know what? I have so many Zoom meetings now. I still can't set up somebody has to do it for me, but I know how to click the buttons to get on.
I know how to join.
So
join in Zoom.
I'm fine. Just don't ask me to be a host or to set it up or anything else like that. So
we did prime time on Zoom this year, and we've done a couple prime times on Zoom now, and it's a very different feel. We're glad to have the access, but it's not like reaching out and seeing the kids' eyes when they're hearing the story. It's just different. The world is different.
And you know what? I don't think it's ever going to be the same.
I don't think so.
I said I got the vaccination, the second shot yesterday, and I still see myself wearing a mask and doing all the other things that, to keep us safe, because you just never know.
Well, just because you have the shots doesn't mean you can't give it to somebody else.
And it doesn't mean that there's some mutant strain of the coronavirus that's going to develop. And so you just never know. This is like 9/11. How our life changed because of that, and we've never gone back. I think this is similar. So we're going to have to get used to, the Zoom and masks and social.
Well, and I think part of the reason I wanted to come back was I have hope. I have hope again. For the first time this year, all I did last year, I feel like, was watch everything get worse and worse and worse and worse. There's vaccines now. There was no plan. There was less vaccines than we were told, but I feel like Dr. Fauci has got us heading in the right direction. I feel hope. I feel like eventually we're going to get out of this.
Well, I'm optimistic too. I've been working the whole time. I've still been going up to the court, and I'm one of the few that are teaching lecture classes in the classroom.
It really scared me that you were doing that.
Well, I wanted to give, there's students that still want that option, and the university has been very safe about the protocols that they've put in place in terms of, the number of students that can. They have me in this huge 300 seat lecture hall for about 15 students. So
you can socially distance.
Yeah, so everybody's spaced out. They have to wear, and I'm pretty strict about the face mask. Some students like to test you a little bit. They'll move it down their face, or they'll, sometimes that. And so I've told them, I said, look, I'm an old man. I'm in a vulnerable population. If you don't want to wear your mask, I'm just going to leave. And so I've been pretty strict with that. But it's been good to be back in the classroom, and to continue to work, I've been blessed. So it's just everything else. I haven't been to a restaurant, haven't been to, so there's a lot of things that you don't do, you adjust your life for, but.
Well, and it's easy to get down, but then I think we're still here. A lot of the members of our community are gone. The Circle of Grandmothers lost so many members. So many people have lost people they loved. And it's just different. You think about it differently. It's like someone put an expiration date on us. I never felt that way before. Now I'm feeling like I have to be careful because I'm old, I smoke.
Very old.
I'm glad to be here because so many of us aren't. Hey, watch it. I know where you live, Zendejas.
You mentioned those that we lost. We don't want to mention anybody by name or anything, but we did lose a lot of dear friends and relatives and mentors, and it's just, that's been one of the more difficult parts of this. And we would like to recognize those in our hearts. We know who they are. Those of you that have followed us on this show for a while know who we are speaking of. And it's just been a difficult period for us, and we will miss them, and we're optimistic for the future. So with that said, we miss them, but we want to honor their memories by pressing on and doing what they would have us do in our communities and in our families. So,
and celebrating the good. There has been good. Cindy and Dakota are engaged. We have good news. There have been babies born. There are people getting engaged. Life goes on. What's that song? One child born and a world to carry on. It's time to carry on.
I have some new grandkids, and I have a couple more on the way too. So it's been a fun year. But we're looking forward to what the future holds. But I kind of wanted to go back and give a sort of a look, because a lot of things have happened. A lot of things that, like I said, when this started, it didn't imagine it would happen. One, that the virus would impact not just our local, our national, but the world. It really has been a global impact, and we have to rethink about what we do and everything that we do. So it's changed our lives. And like I said, I don't think we'll ever go back to what we thought was normal. But, and that's part a good thing. A lot of, being able to use technology to stay in touch with people has proven to be a benefit and a good thing. People like us will need to become a little bit better about that. But we have people like Kenny and our kids that keep us on top of things. So that's a good thing.
Well, and it helps that even though I can't be with my grandkids, I can still see them. It's not like, remember when your mom used to put you on the phone and say, here, talk to your grandma? What was that about? And there'd be three or and now we can see them. And that saved a lot of us. Being trapped in the house is hard. It really is harder than I ever thought it would be. My whole life, I thought, I just want some time to myself. I'm tired of myself.
You know what was one of the biggest things for me is I actually feel, I remember when this first started and very few people were wearing masks, and I would go into a grocery store and see one or two people, wearing a mask. Then they encouraged us to do it. And I start, at first you were sort of the weird person for wearing a mask. And now I get out of the car, I'm thinking I got to have that mask on. And it's become a part of our daily routine now. So
I still work a day a week at Penzies, and they're not open. It's all curbside orders. They're not coming in. So, the world has changed. People are adapting. I had to learn how to order my groceries from Hy-Vee. It was like pulling teeth.
And you know what that's like, pulling teeth.
I'll slap.
And another thing that's happened, I thought was pretty, was the civil unrest over the summer and the impact that had. And getting back to the coronavirus, that's had a really huge detrimental effect in Indian country. There are many parts of Indian country that it's just been incredible, the the rate of the virus and the death, the more
devastation it left in its wake. The Dene, every day I would get on and read about what they were doing. I talked to family in Rosebud. It's not good. You know, the problem is, Ed, so many of us grandparents and great-grandparents live with grandchildren and children. And there's aunts and uncles in the house. And, you know, it's a house full of people. One person could give that entire house COVID. And the young ones might get over it, but the elders are not.
Yeah, well, the other thing I was mentioning was a lot of the civil unrest over the summer. And that, actually, I have to say that had a huge impact on me. I had a rough summer. I did. A lot of it stems from, you know, the young man being killed in Minneapolis and what happened after that, the riots and, you know, all the other things.
The protests.
But
and riots were two very different entities during that time.
I would agree with you. But during that time I don't know if I've shared this with you, and I don't know if I want to put too much into this, but during that time, I was, you know, I live in a relatively suburban neighborhood, and I live close
You're a West Oer.
I live close to a high school, and I would go out and walk, you know, because it's not that sparse. I mean, it's pretty sparse, and at night, you know, a lot of the young kids would congregate in the parking lot, and you know, I got harassed on a number of occasions. You know, when I say harassed, I mean, you know, things that were said to me about, you know, either, you know, the color of my skin or some other thing that I knew what their intent was. And that was a difficult thing for me personally, because I remember one night going walking and a car pulled next to me and said some pretty bad things. And it was just as if it was, you know, 6 to 10 feet away from me, and a kid yelling out the window, and it startled me. And I haven't been that frightened in a long time. And one of the other difficult things was explaining to my grandson that, you know, when I was a kid in the 60s and witnessing what happened then, it was sort of difficult for me to tell him that we're repeating this, and a lot hasn't changed since the time, you know, I was 8, 9, 10 years old, and my grandson's about that age. And that was sort of a difficult conversation I had. But, you know, I think as we evaluate that, the good thing about that is that I think we know where everybody stands now.
The last 4 years have brought out a really ugly underbelly in America. People feel enabled to say and do things that they would have never felt able to say and do before. I mean, it was always there, clearly. They just weren't saying it out loud to us. Now they're saying it out loud.
Well, and I guess, you know, one of the positive things that comes out of that is that it created a greater sense of awareness about the issue, and that there's still disparities in so much that it caused a change that what we thought would never happen, and what, you know, the owner of the Washington team said would never happen actually happened. You know, now we have just the Washington football team. And
Cleveland's changing.
And soon we're going to have the Cleveland baseball team. That was spurred by, you know, the awareness of racial disparity, but also what drove that was, you know, the sponsors.
Yep, money.
I think the people that, you know, were corporate sponsors for the teams and for the stadiums that generate hundreds of millions of dollars, I think, you know, they prodded and inched us in that to the point where I think they didn't have any choice. And as I told people, that's just the beginning. There's still work to be done. And actually, you know, I was able to, you know, I was on a panel for the U.S. Commission on Civil Rights dealing with the Indian mascot issue. So there's still work to be done. If people think that, you know, because Washington is no longer, you know, the team that they are, and Cleveland has gotten rid of. No, there's still work done. There's high schools, there's colleges, there's still pro teams that are out there. So the work isn't done. It's just we've seen some results after all these years.
We got a couple comments. You guys want to?
Oh, hopefully what's going on too has woke up the younger generation. I mean, when you watch an insurrection at the Capitol where people are going in and just being walked out, and they hosed and used dogs on the protesters at Standing Rock, you have to say, why, wait a minute, what kind of America are we living in?
Well, I think we know that.
I think that a lot of the kids didn't know it. I'm sorry, Kenny, we have comments.
I hate to jump in and interrupt you guys because your stories are like so
No,
good.
you don't. You like it.
No, I don't. But we got Tucson was listening in. Says hello, and I hate being inside. Gretchen.
Cornelius, honey, hi.
Yeah, Cornelius and Gretchen says, and we didn't have to wait for aliens to show up.
Yeah.
And then Cornelius says again, was it white kids or black kids hollering out the car at you? ? Beat them up.
Yes.
Real quick.
Who said that?
Cornelius.
Guess what color they were?
Yeah,
you know, Cornelius, when Ed told me, I wanted to come over there with a baseball bat and walk with him too.
No, what was really funny about that is my wife, you know, who's Italian white, she'd have to go walk with me because she was my muscle.
She was your shield.
She was my cred out here in West Omaha. But the funny thing is that she went walking with me, and I had, you know, just a couple hundred steps to go to get my little clicker thing here. And so she walked home, took the way home, and I go another half a block down the road, and my younger daughter's with me, and some truck pulled out and yelled some profanities at us, and so my wife, she didn't get to witness it. She left about, you know, a half a block too soon. But yeah, that was a crazy summer. It was
like when we were little all over again, wasn't it?
I had to check and make sure the parking lot was empty before I would walk around the school and make sure that I went in a lighted path. But anyway, anybody else have anything to say?
Let me say a couple things. Today, the show is just to test out that we can work out what's going on. We have some great shows coming up. Next week, we got Gary Farmer. And if you have the Sci-Fi Channel, he's on a new TV show called Resident Alien. I watched the first 2 episodes. It's really funny. It's, of course, your basic alien on Earth pretending to be a human. And it's what we need now. It's something to laugh at. It's sarcastic humor. It's really, really good. We're going to have Lance Morgan on after that, right, Ed?
Yes. We're on the 11th. We're going to talk about the Warhorse casinos and maybe some other things that he's up to. We're going to let him sort of dictate what else he wants to talk about. But
we also like to hear from our audience. If you have someone you want to talk to, some topic for the show that you think would be good and timely, let us know. I'm open to suggestion. Ed's a cranky old man, but we'll do it anyway.
Then I'll say no, because you
know, in a weird way, you're lucky we've been off for a year, because with what's been going on politics, I think you would have had to muzzle me more than once.
Yeah, you know, and nice segue into politics. I don't want to get into, you know, any of your rants, but one of the good things, monumental things, was that we were going to have a Native woman as Secretary of Interior, Deb Haaland, and that's going to be exciting. And
you know, I feel like it will protect our sacred spaces. I do. I feel like having an Indian in charge of the Department of the Interior is going to go a long way for Natives.
You know, thinking about that, I was thinking knucklehead of the week. There's some congressman, I think from Minnesota. You know, they have a bunch of you know, white supremacist groups in Minnesota. Well, actually, now there are a lot of places now. But anyway, he was wanting the president, or President Biden, I guess we can say that now, to pull her nomination, because she's going to do all this stuff that you know, we've been saying we want to happen for a long, like pipelines and, land being returned and, all this stuff that, that we've been asking for. She's going to do that. So you better pull that nomination. Like, that was the point. So to know his name, but he's a knucklehead. I was reading that. I'm thinking, what a knucklehead.
Who was the Navajo gentleman who was on TV all over the place, working for the former president? That one blew my mind too. He's a knucklehead of the week as well. We don't blame the Navajo. It was just one man who happened to have a role on the tribal council. And
I think he was the vice chair.
Oh, whatever it was, when I read it, I felt my mom and my grandma both rise up out of the grave at the same time.
I think I read, the Native vote went for Biden like 90% to 10%. So.
Well, and that brought up another thing. I watched on CNN, and it was big news in Indian country. African-American percentage, Hispanic percentage, something else.
Yeah, that was.
I looked up again and I thought, no, wait, now what? Something else. And then they showed pictures of the people riding on horseback, natives riding on horseback to vote. And we are something else. Self-esteem for Native people took a little hit there. Granted, CNN did apologize and did fix it, but still, this is 2021. Say the word Native American just one time. Just one time.
Oh, we got another question.
Because Indian country turned out to vote. What, Kenny?
We got another question. Am I coming in loud enough? How do you feel about Biden reaffirming tribal sovereignty? From Gretchen.
I felt he would. I think Biden coming into this, it was one of the things that gave me a lot of hope. Biden and Obama. Obama started. Biden and Obama have always been real open to working with the tribes. And from what I saw from Obama, if President Biden's going to carry on in that thing, I think there's going to be a lot more sovereignty for the nations. I really do. I think, the first thing Biden did was stop the pipeline. I mean, for a lot of natives everywhere, that was big. What do you think, Ed?
Well, I think presidents do that. They'll make statements, and it's what I like is the fact that he actually did name a native to the Department of Interior cabinet position. That was I remember what I put on Facebook. I said, now they need to add a couple of seats to the Supreme Court and put on Diane Humatewa so there needs to be a native on the Supreme Court. They do that, I would be extremely impressed. The
Supreme Court is supposed to be representative of the population.
There's some other things I would like to see happen too. So if they say it, that's fine. A lot of presidents have done that, but you have to look and see what they do. And so far, just the sheer fact that he, tapped Deb Haaland to be the Secretary of Interior is a good sign. So I'm optimistic.
Did you ever see that picture of him when he took a knee in front of her? When she showed up for the Senate in her traditional regalia, and he took a knee, I thought, okay. He's not calling her Pocahontas. It was a step up from what we had. That's all I have to say. Biden cannot be worse than what's happened to the nations in the last 4 years. That's all I have to say about that.
All right.
Got another comment.
What's that?
Another comment from, is it Tara? Tara? T-A-R-A?
Yeah.
My self-esteem didn't take a hit. I just got mad and then laughed. No dummy CNN commenter is going to hurt my feelings, Cindy.
Well, how lovely to be you, Tara.
No, I'm with Tara. I thought it was kind of funny. And I thought the response to it from Indian country was perfect too.
Yeah.
They made a joke. They made all these memes. I think Indian country handled it in the best way that they could, and that was good to show that you can try to mess with us, but we'll just come back with our humor and rise above it.
Because we're something else.
No. Well, is there anything else? I'm kind of tired.
Old man.
You know what?
The thing is, so much has happened. It's hard to even remember what has happened because every day it felt like something new happened, and now it's over, and you just like the shock of it being over and the release of tension. It's like, I don't even want to look back there. It was so bad.
It's a good thing you remember your name.
Yeah, but that's kind of always been. That's nothing new.
No, I think I'm getting a little lag from that second shot.
Really? Did you have any side effects?
The first one was a shot in the arm, little swollen, no big deal. Second one, same thing, swollen, shot in the arm. And I'm feeling a little bit more lethargic, more than usual, I should say. But it's been fine. I would encourage.
Good. That's what I want to hear.
Encourage people to get the vaccination if it's offered to you. I think one of the things I was telling my wife is that, and my kids, everybody has been praying for this virus to end. And I was saying, the Creator doesn't just wave a wand and do stuff for it. He acts through people. And we've got people that have the knowledge and to get a vaccine out relatively quick, and all the testing, and if we're waiting for the Creator to go up and say, all right, I'm going to take it away from everybody, I think we're making I don't want to say a mistake, but I think we're being short-sighted, and I think He works through us and people, and I think that is happening to where vaccines are being created in record time. People are getting tested, and it's being, hopefully, there's going to be a better plan in terms of the vaccinations. And if you have an opportunity to do it, you should do it, because this is going to help get us back. Like I said, I don't think we're ever going to be back to normal, but I think it's going to provide some normalcy for us. So get out and get vaccinated.
I also have a question for you, Ed. Who provides vaccine to the tribes, the state or the federal government?
It was the feds.
The feds? Well, that's good for Indians. I mean, if we have to wait for Ricketts to give Indians shots, you would not be sitting there with shots today.
Well, I'm happy that I was in the group that was selected to be vaccinated. So
you're a judge. You're in front. You needed it. You're a frontline worker in a weird way.
Yeah.
You get the back end.
I would just encourage you, if you get the opportunity. I know a lot of people are saying, I don't know. If you get the opportunity, take it.
I'm getting it. And I'm encouraging everybody I know to get it. They said, well, I won't feel good for a day. You'll be in the hospital with corona a lot longer. If you're worried about what the shot side effects are, look at the effects of corona. Weigh it carefully in your mind. I follow the science. I believe the science. If Dr. Fauci says do it, Cindy's doing it.
Well, I'm doing it because like I said, I'm in the category of vulnerable population. What could happen? And so old. Some other thing.
Old, brother. Yeah, old.
Yeah, but you will always be older than me.
This much.
No.
This much.
We got another question from Jokey, I believe.
Hi, Jokey.
What are your thoughts on the summer 2020 Oklahoma ruling for a return of land?
Oh, the McGirt case. You know what? We might save that for Lance Morgan, but that was a huge case. We've talked about that in previous shows, and I had suspected. You remember? I'm on record of saying I suspected that Gorsuch was going to be the deciding vote that returned or recognized the Oklahoma tribes as having their jurisdiction and having been diminished by Congress. So I was that's been a huge case. We'll talk more about that a little bit. That's an entire show all in of itself. But I was really happy to see.
Well, listen, looks like we're winding up. Ed, I am so happy to be back. Believe it or not, it was even good to see you.
No.
Now all we need is 3 happiness, and we can once again enjoy life.
Yeah, I know, Kenny. There's no peanut butter chicken to.
No peanut butter chicken.
No peanut butter chicken.
Gretchen says nap time, LOL.
Yeah.
She's
Tell her
glad
don't
that.
be smart.
She's glad that we're back, and Cornelius wants to hope to join in on one of our next calls. This was fun.
Good. I'm glad you two enjoyed it. And yeah, you know, I am a napper now. I'm not going to lie. That is one thing Corona has done. I can lay down and take a nap, and I have time to do it. So see, there has been a good thing. Cindy's now a napper and an eater.
All right. Well, we'll look forward. Brother Gary, next week we're going to talk about his new show, Resident Alien. It's if you haven't seen it,
it's on Sci-Fi.
You won't regret seeing it. It's a funny show, well written. You know, don't let the premise of the alien scare you away. It's really well written.
And he's not in the first one. He's not in the first episode.
He's in the upcoming one, but you need to see the first one to set the premise up. And I believe his character is Dan 12 Trees. So it's I wouldn't tell you this just because it's Brother Gary, but I really did enjoy the show.
I knew you would. It's that kind of, it's broad, sarcastic. It's just broad humor. It's exactly what's needed right now. On the CW, there's another show called Trickster. It's a kind of an intense show. It's really, really good. It's about a young man on an Indian reservation. And it looks to me like they've used natives in it. It's about Trickster. And, that's a really interesting character on this show. So check that out too. The Trickster on the CW. Also on Netflix, there's a really good water protector special. Be sure and check that out as well.
But next week is Brother Gary with Resident Alien. So we'll
before we say Brother Gary, let's see how he is technologically. It might just be me and Ed again, but we'll still talk about his show.
You might have him on the phone.
Yeah, one more comment from Brenda. Happy to see you people too.
Oh, Brenda, I miss you, miss you, miss you. All righty, everybody, have a great week. We'll see you every Thursday at 4 o'clock. Eventually, these shows will be on cable, but right now, it's just us and you.
Well, good to see you. We'll see you again next week with Brother.
Have a good week.
Yeah.